Bhakti Yoga, one of the major spiritual paths in Hinduism, centers on devotion and unconditional love for a personal deity. Originating in the Vedic and post-Vedic periods, Bhakti Yoga evolved significantly during the early centuries of the Common Era, culminating in a powerful movement that reshaped Indian religious and cultural landscapes. This devotional tradition emphasizes a direct, individual relationship with the divine, distinct from the ritualistic and philosophical approaches of other yogic paths. The practice of Bhakti Yoga involves multiple techniques aimed at fostering a deep, personal connection with the divine. These include japa, chanting, kirtan, singing, and puja, worship, each playing a crucial role in the devotee's spiritual journey. The core principles of Bhakti Yoga, devotion, love, and surrender, are deeply interwoven, each reinforcing and enhancing the others. Devotion, the foundational element, involves a dedicated focus on and worship of the divine. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita, those who worship me with devotion, meditating on my transcendental form, to them I carry what they lack and preserve what they have. This devotion naturally matures into love, a deeper emotional bond with the divine, as described. To those who are constantly devoted and who worship me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. This profound love leads to surrender, where the devotee relinquishes all personal will to the divine will, encapsulated in the promise, "Surrender unto me only. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear." Together, these principles form a cyclical and reinforcing triad. Devotion fosters love, love leads to surrender, and surrender deepens devotion, creating a harmonious and holistic spiritual practice. In the heart, where devotion lies, bhakti blooms under open skies. Love grows deep, a sacred art. Prema's fire ignites the heart. In surrender, we find the key. Sharanagati sets us free. Devotion, love, and yielding will. Together, they our spirits fill. The paths within Bhakti Yoga, Vaidhi Bhakti, Raganuga Bhakti, and Apara Bhakti, represent different stages and intensities of devotional practice. Vaidhi Bhakti, or regulated devotion, is characterized by adherence to prescribed rules and rituals. As the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu explains, when one follows the rules and regulations of devotional service, the faith gradually develops into spontaneous attraction. This disciplined practice can evolve into Raganuga Bhakti, or spontaneous devotion, where the devotee's love for the divine transcends formalities, described as spontaneous attraction leads to deeper, selfless love beyond mere adherence to rules. Without this regulated foundation, devotion may not rise above the lower forms, or apara bhakti, which can be superficial or self-serving. As noted in the Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhi, without regulated devotion, one cannot achieve true spontaneous love or surpass lower forms of devotion. This triad illustrates a progression-regulated devotion is essential for nurturing spontaneous devotion, while the absence of such discipline can result in falling into lower forms of devotion. In Vaidhi Bhakti's sacred way, rules and rituals guide our day. To Raganuga, hearts aspire, spontaneous love takes us higher. But without a regulated start, apara's chains may bind the heart. From rules to love, we grow and rise. Bhakti's flame lights up the skies. In Bhakti Yoga, the practices of chanting, singing, and worship are interconnected and mutually enhancing. Chanting, or japa, which involves the repetition of divine names, is a fundamental practice that purifies the mind and heart. As highlighted in the Srimad Bhagavatam, by chanting and singing the holy names, one naturally engages in worship. This individual practice is often complemented by congregational singing, or kirtan, which brings together a community in collective devotion, as seen in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Chanting combined with worship creates an environment for congregational singing. Both chanting and singing naturally culminate in puja, or worship, where the devotee offers physical and mental offerings to the divine, creating a sacred atmosphere. This triad is described harmoniously in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Singing and worship together inspire individual chanting. These practices form a convergent cycle. Chanting leads to singing and worship. Singing encompasses chanting and worship integrates chanting and singing, fostering a comprehensive devotional environment. Japas whispers in the night, names divine, a guiding light. Kirtan's chorus, hearts in song, together we find where we belong. In puja's grace, we offer all, to the divine, we heed the call. Chanting, singing, worship blend, devotion's path, no end, no end. The states of devotional love, reverence, attachment, and ecstasy illustrate the deepening of emotional and spiritual connection with the divine. Reverence, or Shraddha, is the initial respect and faith in the divine, acting as the seed of devotion. Faith is the seed of devotion, leading to attachment. As this faith deepens, it transforms into attachment, or rati, a more personal and intense longing for the divine, described in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Attachment grows into ecstasy, the highest state of devotional love. This attachment, when nurtured, culminates in bhava, or ecstasy, a state of pure transcendental joy and union with the divine. This state encompasses and surpasses both reverence and attachment, creating a complete cycle of devotion. Ecstasy contains both faith and attachment, completing the circle of devotion. These states demonstrate an inclusive progression where reverence leads to attachment, attachment leads to ecstasy, and ecstasy embodies both reverence and attachment. In reverence, our journey starts, Shraddha's seed within our hearts. Attachment grows, a sweet embrace, rati's warmth, we find our place. Ecstasy in bhava's dance, love divine, a trance, reverence, attachment, joy above, states that lead to boundless love. The phases of bhakti development, initial faith, association with devotees, and steady practice, are essential for the growth of devotion. Initial faith, or adau shraddha, is the starting point of the devotional journey, a spark that leads one to seek deeper spiritual engagement. Initial faith leads to association with devotees, which fosters steady practice. This faith is strengthened through sadhu sangha, or association with devotees, who provide guidance, inspiration, and support, as emphasized. Steady practice consolidates association with devotees, affirming faith. This association encourages bhajana kriya, or steady practice, where the devotee engages regularly in devotional activities, ensuring sustained spiritual growth. Together, these phases form an integrated process where faith leads to association. Association fosters practice, and practice reinforces both faith and association. Faith and steady practice together deepen one's association with the spiritual community. This triad highlights the cyclical and reinforcing nature of the phases of bhakti development. Adau Shraddha, faith's first light, guides us through the darkest night. In sadhu sangha, friends we find, devotees love, hearts entwined. Bhajana kriya, practice pure, steady hands and hearts secure. Faith, community, and steady hands, together they are bhakti lands. These comprehensive explanations provide a deeper understanding of how the principles, paths, practices, states of devotional love, and phases of bhakti development are interconnected within Bhakti Yoga. Each element supports and reinforces the others, creating a harmonious and dynamic framework that guides devotees towards spiritual fulfillment and union with the divine. The quotations from classical texts emphasize the mutual influences and cyclic relationships that characterize Bhakti Yoga, demonstrating its holistic and integrative nature. Devotion, love, and yielding will, together, they are spirits filled. From rules to love, we grow and rise. Bhakti's flame lights up the skies. Chanting, singing, worship blend, devotion's path, no end, no end. Reverence, attachment, joy above. States that lead to boundless love. Faith, community, and steady hands. Together they are Bhakti land.